Your job as a data analyst is to provide solutions to problem when you are being provided with some data. As simple as that. But there are some type of problem that you will actually face that will determine the type of data analysis technique that you use in providing the solution. So yeah, we actually have five types of data analysis technique that we use to tackle problems. And so in no particular order, I'm going to list all of them out right here. So you can just see them. I mean, make I not list them. Just let's start like that. So the first one is what we call descriptive analysis. So as the name implies, descriptive, it means describe. So it's this branch of analysis technique that allows us to summarize and describe our data sets. Now, under this technique, we have two main components. We have the visual measure and we have the numerical measure. So the visual measure tries to use pictures, bar graphs, pie chart, histogram, just trying to use charts to tell a story about our data set. They literally took a picture worth 1,000 words. They took it literally. So yeah. So this is where we have things like data visualization and all of those things that makes storytelling very interesting. The second part of descriptive analysis is the numerical measure, where we use a number or we use some numbers to actually quantify and summarize our data sets. Under this, we have the measure of central tendency, which is the mean median mode. And then we have the measure of dispersion, which includes the range, the standard deviation, the variance, and the mean absolute deviation. So your job as a data analyst is to know the interpretation of each of these numbers. I think I'll make a separate video on how to do that. Now, the next is what we call the exploratory data analysis, which is quite a bit similar to the descriptive analysis because there are some steps that we perform in descriptive that we can also perform in EDA. So this branch of analysis or this type of analysis technique rather is going to help us to look at the variables that make up our data sets and try to see how they relate with each other. We are trying to see how they form these patterns, how they form this image. Because if you have a lot of variables interacting, one way or the other, they form patterns, and it is the pattern that leads to insight. And this is what we are interested in. So under EDA, there are a lot of things you can do, but the most popular one is what we call the correlation analysis, where you try to see whether this variable correlates or relates with this. So people can actually go as far as doing chi-square test for independence just to test to see if there's a relationship between two variables or not. So after that, we have what we call the inferential analysis, and this is just basically hypothesis testing from statistics, where you try to make inference on the population data by making use of the sample data. So under this place, you try to use stuff like hypothesis test. We have the one way ANOVA, we have the two way ANOVA, we have the T test, we have the Z test, we have the F test. All of those hypothesis testing that you were running from in your statistics class. Yes, you may not